Welcome to the Floyd Memorial Library podcast, where we sit down with the people who give shape, texture, and voice to life on the North Fork of Long Island. Some are rooted here by generations, others arrived by chance or choice, but all carry with them a piece of the story. We talk about what's changing, what's worth holding on to, and the currents of history, both quiet and loud, that run through this place. I'm your host, Christopher Bianchi, and for episode 228, we sit down with Maria Rivero González, CEO of RGNY Wine, a winery whose story spans generations and geographies from northern Mexico to the North Fork of Long Island. Maria grew up in a family where wine was part of everyday life. Her family began making wine in Parras, Coahuila, widely considered the oldest wine region in the Americas. And what started as her father's passion would eventually become a business Maria herself helped shape. At just 23, she stepped into a leadership role, navigating both the challenges in entrepreneurship and an industry long dominated by men. That journey ultimately led her to the North Fork with the acquisition of Martha Clara Vineyards and the creation of RGNY as a bridge between Mexican roots and Long Island's terroir. Today, RGNY reflects Maria's commitment to sustainability, innovation, and a deep respect for place. In this conversation, we talk about family, legacy, leadership, and the future of wine on the North Fork, and the role RGNY hopes to play in that story. So I hope you enjoy episode 228 with Maria Rivero González. This episode was recorded September 9th, 2025. Thank you so much for coming on the Floyd Memorial Library podcast today. It's really a pleasure to have you on today.
No, thank you for having me.
Definitely.
Happy.
And so with these interviews, I usually like to start off in the beginning with a little introduction. If you can tell us a little bit about your early life and where you grew up.
Who am I? Yeah. So I grew up in Monterrey, Mexico, which is northeastern part, right below Texas. My father's from Mexico City, though, but he had lived in Parras, Coahuila, for high school. Mm-hmm. And he loved it. So he always took us there. That was our summer place and winter place and in-between place. Mm-hmm. Whenever we had a small chance, we would go there. And it meant freedom for us. It meant we could be out on the motorcycles and running around. We literally left when the sun was up and we came back for dinner. Mm-hmm. So I really fell in love with Parras. Yes. Monterrey is more of an industrial big city. Mm-hmm. Very good quality of life. Very small in a way. It's mm-hmm. big, but it feels small.
Yes. When did your family get involved within the wine? The wine area.
We actually got involved in Parras because my father lived there and he just fell in love with it. That then he took us there and then he eventually bought a piece of land with pecan. It was a small pecan farm. And he just loved going there and he loved the pecan and he started growing it and then he planted a small vineyard for his own consumption. It was really a hobby for him. That was so he planted. He bought the property in 1990 and then he planted in 1998.
Okay, but was that area also known as a wine region? One of the oldest.
Oh yeah. Parras is actually the oldest wine growing region in the whole continent.
Wow.
Not a lot of people know about this, but Jesuits came back in 1597, mm-hmm. and they saw natural vines. Actually, it's called Santa Maria de las Parras. Parras means vines. Mm. So they came, they saw all of these natural vines, and they were shocked. The vines there, though, were not giving a good enough grape to make wine. So they brought in all of the European varietals, the ones we know, the Merlots, mm-hmm. the Cabs, the Vitis vinifera, and so it became a wine region. But then Carlos II, the king in Spain, said, you're killing all of my importations that I'm sending, the wine that he was sending from Spain. Mm. So they ordered to burn everything. And they burned all of the vines.
Wow.
The ones that survived were for the wine for consecration, for mass, right? Because they were very Catholic. They were Spanish. And that's what saved some of those vines, yeah. But the history has been there for such a long time.
Yes. Well, what do you remember about those early days in Paris?
So when I was younger, there were a lot more pecan farms. Maybe one big vineyard that's still around, and maybe another small one. But really, it was more pecans. What's very distinct of Parras, it's a microclimate. So we come from Monterrey, which is very hot, very hard during summers, and you come to this place where it's 20 degrees Celsius almost all day long. It's beautiful, right? It's sunny. The temperature drops at night. And that's why all of these things do great, the vines, the pecans. But really, when my father started this project and later that I joined, I always said that we were rescuing traditions because not a lot of people were doing it when I was growing up. It had been abandoned. We all knew we were the cradle of winemaking, but no one was really pushing it or growing it in a way, right?
And when do you think that took off within that area? Do you think in terms of bringing back the tradition?
Oh, no, that's very recent.
That's more recent.
Oh, yeah. I think we were pioneers. I think, so Casa Madero, which is our big neighbor, they've been there for more than 420-something years, right? They're the oldest winery in America. And we were there. I think we were the next ones to kind of do a splash in terms of brand and going out there in Mexico and saying, hey, we're wines from Parras. Parras is a great region. And after that, they just started flocking. There's a few people that are my father's generation that went to Montpellier and they studied especially viticulture. So they came back and that really helped because they came back to their hometown and they were like, okay, let's restart this again, right? Now I was part of the first, like the wine council, the local regional wine council. And when we started, I think it was like 25 of us. Now I think there's like 87 in the state of Coahuila. So it's coming.
Yes.
And the projects in Coahuila are big. They're big. They have money. They're looking to be there for the long run, which is very exciting.
Yes. And do you have any favorite family story or traditions within the last few years that have stayed with you? I
mean, it has been such a part of our family that there's plenty, right? The funny thing, it becomes a part of your family and your traditions that's how traditions are born, I guess, without you even knowing. But the first time that we wanted to celebrate a harvest, my father was like, okay, let's make a party, invite some of your friends. So I have 3 older brothers, okay? And we were all like, okay, so one of my brothers was in charge of buying the alcohol, and then the other was in charge of like bringing the speakers and the music, and we thought it was going to be like a simple thing. It ended up being 120 people. My brother brought in some speakers that looked like a rave. I had told the guys that managed the vineyard to do a small like fire. They did a fire that was 4 meters tall. It was a proper party. My father was shocked, but he was like, okay, sure. But we were counting on those people to help us harvest. So the next day I woke up everyone. We had rented a few houses. And we were like, okay, move out. They were all hungover, and I was like 20. So our friends were 20-something. They were all harvesting. They were all very hungover. It was fun. I had to go get tacos and paletas heladas and whatever I could to just wake them the hell up and make them harvest because we were counting on that. And that's now a big harvest party that we do every year. Now it's a public event. We charge for it. We bring great chefs all over Mexico. we get 500 people in. So it's clearly developed into something else. But in the end, it has that same spirit of just having fun and celebrating and giving thanks to the beautiful land that gives us a grape, right?
Yes. And even before that, I was just curious, because you grew up more you said in Monterrey?
Yep. So we lived in Monterrey, and we went a lot of weekends and vacations to Parras. But
going through school there, and did you know you wanted to get involved?
God, no.
No.
No, it's funny. I think I grew up in a society where gender roles were very, very strict. Mm-hmm. So I was going to get married and have 5 kids. But no, I didn't. I loved Parras. I was always, what I knew is I was in love with Parras and with being out there and being in the pecan farms and walking outside and just nature. That's what really called me. And the other thing is, my father created this wine with such care and precision because it was for him. Mm-hmm. And when you do something for you and you pour all of that love, you do something wonderful. I think my second obsession was, this is worth people finding out. This should be next to the French wines. Mm-hmm. And people should know. And back in 2007, when we launched the brand, I remember people saying, Mexican wine? No, you're crazy. Why are we going to buy a Mexican wine when we can buy Italian and French? And I had to do blind tastings to all of the big distribution companies and go like, if I'm not in the top 3, you don't buy me. Mm-hmm. And we excelled time and time again. So that was my other obsession. It was like, Parras is so wonderful. I need to share Parras with the world. And I think it became a pride thing for me. Mm.
Yes, because I think, was it when you were around 23 you started to...
So I graduated college when I was 23.
Okay.
And my family owns a mining company. Okay, so I started working for the mining company. A few months in, I was like, what am I doing here? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm going to sell ferro alloy mineral? Like, that's not sexy for me. I don't And it's a big industry. It's very male-dominated. And I was supposed to marry and have kids. Mm-hmm. But I needed something to do, and we were taught that we had to work. And we liked working. That was part of our idea. So I asked if I could sell the wine. And my father was like, but it's my wine. And I was like, well, you're not finishing it all. Like, you're trying. And I see your friends really try. But there's a lot of bottles left. And again, this became my obsession of like, people have to try this because it's so good. Mm-hmm. I didn't know a lot about wines, but I knew that our wine excelled. And I guess I believed in it so much.
Yes. And you mentioned even in the other industry, but what challenges did you face as a young woman leading in what has traditionally been a male-dominated industry?
Yeah, that has changed a lot, which I'm happy. I see a lot of women. You started seeing them more in the commercial side of wine. Now you see them everywhere, in the agricultural part as well, in the winemaking, which is leading a lot, which is great. I think my naivete helped me at the beginning, because I didn't know, I didn't have a plan, honestly. Mm-hmm. I didn't know how long I was going to do that for. I just knew that I liked to do it, and I liked it when people tried the wine and bought the wine, and I pushed for that. But I was very young and stupid, and I did encounter a lot of restaurant owners and people who were like, okay, but let's have dinner, you and me, and all of this, and a hand in the wrong place. Like, someone just asked me this a few weeks ago, and I remember vividly I gave a slap to a guy, to a restaurant owner once, and I just stormed out. He was like, but I'm the biggest restaurant in San Miguel de Allende. And I was like, well, then I won't sell in San Miguel de Allende. Mm-hmm. I'm fine with it. I was raised not to take it, so I guess I never took it.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I didn't think about it until the first time someone asked me what were the challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So again, my naivete, I think I was young and stupid, and that helped.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But over time, you mentioned that it has changed, but getting your wine to different areas, even within Mexico, that eventually took root at different restaurants and just getting more exposure.
Yeah, I think we started at 2007 was back when no one was drinking Mexican wines, not even in Mexico. So I remember selling a bottle of wine back then was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's easy in Mexico. Now the wine that we drink the most is Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
That switch happened over time, and I think Mexican wine finally took over like 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the commercial side of that has been a journey. But more and more we're getting recognition. There's two big groups of Mexican wine coming into the US through two big distributors. We hit the shelves in Texas a year and a half ago, and now we're hitting 10 states this year through Weinbau. And it's 9 or 10 wineries that are coming in. So Mexican wine is getting there, yeah.
Yes.
But some people still ask, like, but Mexico, tequila, beer? And I'm like, sure, but wine? They still question it, right?
Yes.
Then you tell them you're the oldest wine-growing region, and the Jesuits came, and they're thrilled.
They're like, oh, okay.
I had no idea that was there.
Yes. And now we might be jumping a bit, but when did you come out to the North Fork? When was the first time you came out here, and what did you think of the area?
So funnily enough, I lived in New York twice. I went to Columbia University for a year, and then I actually did my sommelier studies in New York. And I never knew the North Fork existed. Mm-hmm. And then my family wanted to grow in this business. The political climate was starting to change in Mexico 7-8 years ago. And we started thinking about buying something somewhere else that had to do with agro, or the division that I was running. And when my father called me and said, there's a wine region in Long Island and there's a few for sale, you have to go see them. I was like, Long Island? What? Really? And I came here and I was shocked that I'd never been here. I love New York. I had always looked to go back to live in New York, but how did I never hear of this? I mean, I did my sommelier studies in New York, and no one ever told me this was here. It's crazy. It's it's beautiful. Mm-hmm. It's really a wine growing region that just stands out for its natural beauty. But B, I saw all of the grapes, and I started trying some of the wines, and I quickly realized the potential. Especially because I saw that the grapes were beautiful and the winemaking was good, but it was a little lagging, and I thought there was more potential for that. Mm-hmm. So I fell in love quickly. Plus, if it was going to bring me to New York.
Yes.
And so we bought the property at the end of 2018. And I started coming back and forth early 2019. I got my visa somewhere around there and moved fully.
Okay. And that was originally the Martha Clara
Vineyards. Okay. So we bought Martha Clara Vineyards, who was owned by the Entenmann family, mm-hmm. Which the Entenmann family was like a big shots around here, right?
Yes.
And they were legends. Mm-hmm. And this guy, Mr. Robert Entenmann, was very well known for doing parties in his property, and he had set up the vineyard for his daughter, who later left. Mm-hmm. And so they ended up, Mr. Entenmann died, and they ended up selling the property. It's an amazing property. It's beautiful, full of life, full of potential. And it took us a year to rebrand. So we stuck with the Martha Clara for a year, and then we rebranded. Our brand in Mexico was Rivero González, which is my father's last name and my mother's last name. And we wanted to kind of put it all together and become a little more what's that word?
Homogeneous.
Yes, thank you. So Rivero González became RGMX. And so RGNY was born. 2019, we officially launched RGNY.
Okay.
We definitely were, and of course, from a business perspective, there were a lot of questions. Why New York? Why not Napa? What's going to buy you here versus there? And I always say that we have a saying in Mexico that's head of the rat or tail of the lion. And it's always easier to be the head of the rat. So it's a smaller region. It's easier to have a big impact there. And also, I love underdog regions. I love regions that are not well known because you have more flexibility to experiment and to do whatever you want without anyone having necessarily to question your every move, right?
Yes. Even
and
with
New York.
New York within the
mix.
vicinity. But when you were rebranding, were you thinking of how to balance or honoring your Mexican roots while building a brand that's part of the North Fork identity?
Yeah. So initially we thought of hiring an agency that we worked with for years in Mexico, and then we switched and we hired an agency that was based in Dumbo back then. Actually, they moved out to the North Fork because of us, which is great, right? But they had a very talented Mexican friend of mine working there. So it became this great mix where she was part of a team, but these guys were New York, right? And they knew how to talk to New York in a way, and the U.S. in general. So we decided that we had to carry through the values that distinguish us, because that's just our DNA and that's who we are, and you can't or shouldn't change who you are. But we also had to leave space for local. My father always says that you're only as strong as your weakest link, and that's very much a community, right? You have to be you want to be a part of the community, and you want to contribute, and you want to, that's the way you grow. It has been interesting trying to be very Mexican, but at the way open up space for the North Fork and being local. I also always say that RGNY is made of whoever is there. So every employee, every worker, everyone that comes through the door is a part of RGNY. And we try to let that happen and let that flow as much as we can, right?
And you mentioned it officially, was that 2019 that you said for the rebranding, but was there a challenge with COVID at that time going into the 2020? And
I think COVID, honestly,
or it might have helped.
I think COVID was a gift for wineries in Long Island in general. People couldn't go out. People from the city looked to be out here in Long Island, and we could open. And we at RGNY have quite a big place, so that also helped, because we literally marked the floor with white lines saying like 20 feet, 20 feet, 20 feet. And people were super happy and not stressed about being inside their own canopy 20 feet apart from the next one. So I think COVID in a way kind of, it was challenging because everything changed for me really, really quickly. And I had just gotten here, so I was like just getting the lay of the land, and suddenly it's like, rules don't apply, and you don't know what are the rules. But it propelled us to move forward and find ways to comply and be resilient and make people happy and open the doors for them. And it brought business through the door. So we were not saying no to that, right?
Yes.
It was challenging as well because I think Martha Clara had been there for so long. And I again, stupidly and very naively, I was like, well, but I'm just going to come in and change it and it's going to be RGNY and that's it. Well, no, it takes a while and people are used to something and you're trying to give them something else. And even if you think that something else is better, which I generally do think our offer is better, some people it's different. And some people it's gonna take time for them to adjust or you have to explain it. And so there was this kind of like bridge that we were building between old Martha Clara customers and new RGNY customers.
Yes. And moving on since then, how has the vineyard evolved, and just have you seen more customers, a wide range of people coming out here and thinking of the wine region today, and even over that time, has it changed?
Yeah, I think we're good at being in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
I think we're good at becoming part of that change and being agents for change in a way. The very first year I made wine here, I remember I had met a few of the winemakers and I wanted them to try the wines. And most of them were like shocked. They're like, but this is not the right color. You should add something to it. Or you should chaptalize, because we had a year that was soft. And I was like, well, we're into more minimal intervention. I want to know what the region can actually give me without correcting the wines first. It was a Cab Franc, very easy to drink, very strawberry-like, and what I heard more and more was it lacked power. And I was like, I'm happy with a non-powerful and easy Cab Franc, right? But I think those were the things that helped change the region, and that's my experience. But there's plenty of agents that have come before and after me to change this region, and you can see it in the wines. More and more, you taste wines that you go like, whoa, this is really good. This is coming from the North Fork, and I think experience-wise as well. Before, people would just go and buy a bottle of wine and that's not even think about it that much. I think experience have gotten sophisticated and fun and higher end, and yeah, there's a lot happening out here, I think.
Yes. And what about for been reaching out to New York City and getting restaurants and people there to try the wine?
I mean, there has always been some of the brands out there in the city, right? But I do see them more and more. Either more of the same brands, just more exposure, or also some of the new players coming in and now being available through wholesale in the city. And it's exciting. I mean, every time I see a local wine, I go for it. It's what I say. Drink, if you're not going to drink RGNY, but drink local, right?
Yes.
And I think there's even a bar in New York that only serves New York North Fork wines, which is really cool. I just discovered that, by the way. The quality is definitely getting better. We had a great year for reds last year, and it looks like we're having a great year for everything this year. So I think I had a German guy come in last year for an interview, and I was super excited talking about like our sparklings. This is a region that's ripe for sparklings, and sparklings are amazing, and we should push more of the sparklings, and the whites are awesome. And he was like, well, with climate change, you're going to become a very important region for reds. And I hadn't thought of that. But it's true, because all of the regions that have lighter reds are not having light reds anymore. They're becoming big, bold reds.
Yes.
So we're still in that realm of light but powerful and meaningful reds that I think is going to become relevant. I hope.
Yes. And with your winery in Mexico, has that region changed over time with climate change, or is compared to
No, that's a great question, because when a lot of people say that doesn't exist, I'm like, well, I used to harvest in September and now I harvest in July. So you tell me. So yeah, the periods are getting shorter. We're harvesting earlier for sure. I don't think in Mexico it has changed the style of the wines that much. But because it has we're harvesting earlier, but also cold is coming in earlier. So it's mainly just switching how it's playing around. I think here in Long Island you can see that we are getting more sunlight, which is good.
Yes. And do you carry your wines from Mexico over on the North Fork as well to like cross brand to see people like?
So I can't sell the Mexican wines in my tasting room here, unfortunately, because I can only sell New York State wines. I do sell them around. Vintage Maritok is a good example, but we are selling them in the city, and people are crazy for Mexican wines, which is good. And we're selling New York wines in Mexico, and we're growing 50% every year. I do a sparkling Riesling on the lease. People go crazy for that in Mexico. It's different. It's high acidity, it's super crisp, it's super fresh. I can never make that in Mexico. And this year we're onto something very exciting, because we're actually we're sending some grape to Mexico, and we're actually going to mix grapes for the first time. It's something we wanted to do since the beginning. Because why not? You have to wonder, right? The good of one region versus the good of the other region, how to put them together.
Yes.
So we're building that project. We're sending a few tons of grape to Mexico, and we'll see how that goes.
Yes.
It's exciting.
And I was going to ask more so with sustainability and innovation, or part of your philosophy, how do you see those shaping the future of RGNY or the North Fork region in general?
I think on the innovation side of things, that's just part of who we are. It's hard to stop it, right? We were the first orange wine in Mexico. We were the first Blanc de Noir in Mexico. We were the first ones here to do the create your own bottle experience, your own blend. We're probably going to be the first ones to mix Mexican and American juices and grapes. And that's exciting because it defines who you are. And you're always pushing for that. I always say that we have to make sure that our quality is there before we go and innovate, right? So I'll give you a good example here in Long Island. I from the beginning, I knew and I thought it was a great region for sparklings. So until we nailed our Blanc de Noir, which is a traditional Champenoise method, like very, very traditional, until we were like, okay, this is a great wine. Then we went on to do the sparkling Riesling on the lease and go like, okay, let's do something crazier on the sparkling realm of things. So we always try to make sure that we can do things before we innovate. But I do think it's important, and I do think it's exciting, and it keeps things fresh, and it keeps everyone involved inside and outside of the brand, right?
Yes.
Sustainability is harder, but it's definitely more important, right? Again, it's sustainability from the inside out of everything. You want your team to stay sustainable. You want to be green and sustainable in that sense of the word. So we always start with the grapes, because that's where everything begins. Here we are certified sustainable. We're part of the certified sustainable recognition. But we definitely push it way above that, right? We're a big vineyard, so doing things is hard because you have to do it for all of the 90 acres that we have. But we've gone herbicide free. We've been herbicide free for a few years now, which is something that I'm proud of and that had to happen. I'm a big believer in fungi. Fungi, when you add them to the ground, they actually make all of the nutrients soluble for the plant to grab them. Because the nutrients are there. They're just not in a form that the plant can absorb them. And fungi breaks that down. Fungi, honestly, they're amazing. So I'm a big believer in that. We've done a few projects and we'll continue to do so because they keep the land clean. So that's really where we should be pushing for in terms of sustainability. The cleaner you have the land, the more sustainable it's going to be in the future. We've planted a lot more flowers and a lot of other things that are going to just bring the ecosystem to a better place. And in Mexico, I think we're definitely further ahead in Mexico, but we've been doing it for longer.
It's been established longer.
Correct. We do our own compost. We have our own, what do you call them? The gusanos? The worms.
Oh, the worms. Yeah.
We have our own worm system and they're reproducing there with us. And so we have a more established system to be sustainable. In Mexico, we're doing a wine and we're calling it the more ecological wine. So we're using glass that's not painted. We're not adding the capsule on top. We're like removing as much as we can for it to actually become more sustainable. So we're pushing through those projects in Mexico, and then whatever we can bring here, we will.
And I was also curious, just with comparing the regions with Coahuila.
Yeah.
Just looking at that area today, and do you get more visitors each year? Has it gained more traction? Because I'm not sure exactly where it is, but just compared to the North Fork region, it's much bigger. Or is it?
Well, first off, it's completely different.
Yes.
You're talking about it's in the middle of the desert.
Okay.
So if you Google it, it's like gray, and you're gonna see a super small patch of green. That's Parras. So it's literally an oasis in the middle of the desert. That's how you would define an oasis, which is amazing. And again, on sustainability, it's very easy to be sustainable because it's clean. Nothing comes in, nothing goes out. So the conditions are perfect in that sense. Completely different from here. Here it's like water and bloom and lush. But it has gotten, as I said, I think when we started that project where we all got together and did the association, that was maybe 2015, I want to say. So just to round up numbers, 10 years ago. There's probably 70 more wineries now. And we don't have tasting rooms. They're starting to come around, tasting rooms. So we do tours. We started doing tours in 2017 or 2018. And that's growing 70% year over year. So it's only just scratching the surface in agritourism or eno-tourism. Whereas here, tasting rooms are the norm, right? So it's getting there. People are coming out to Parras.
Yes.
And exploring. It's a small town. It's 16,000 people. So I think the North Fork...
It's 24,000.
Okay, good. Thank you. I was going to say around 20. So.
Okay.
So it's close. It's just the Parras. It's a small town. It's just one town. So people are a little more concentrated together, if you will. And it's a valley. So really there's mountains and it's a small valley within it. And the water comes from the ground. So that's why it's so green.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's green in the middle of the desert. You have cacti all over the place. So here you have hydrangeas all over the place. So
Yes.
very different.
Very different. And now for RGNY, just are there any other future projects you have for RGNY or for the future here?
So, I mean, I've said this before. Our property has development rights.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been searching for the right developer that doesn't just want to build 100 homes and get the most bang for their money. We want to build something meaningful. We want to build a community that really values, I guess, the agro part of it as much as we do. I grew up being in a farm, and I grew up going to literally cut the apples to bring for my mom so she could do the apple pie. And I think that's what we're looking for in a community,
mm-hmm.
to create something where young families or older families can enjoy being outside and what nature has to give you, right?
Yes.
So that'll come.
Yeah.
We were impatient at the beginning. Well, I was impatient at the beginning. And my family has taught me to be patient and wait for the right actors
mm-hmm.
for this to play out. In the meantime, the brand is growing. We're leaning into our Mexican in the tasting room. We're doing a lot of Mexican brunches and Dia de Muertos and, the things that I say no one can do Mexican like the Mexicans. So we're going to still do that. We're become better and better in doing it, and just keep at the wines. Enjoy these good years that we're having so we can make something great.
Mm-hmm.
And that mixed wine that we don't know what brand is going to or what, but that's it's exciting to put the grapes together and see what we can make.
Mm-hmm. And what's your number one bestseller out here? People probably say they're all great, but do you have a number one that you see as really popular?
Yeah, the white Merlot. We were the first ones in Mexico to do a Blanc de Noir, and when I came here, that just quickly was easy for me, because what happens here is you have to harvest early because the pressure and the diseases are going to get you.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a lot of Merlot planted in the vineyard that we bought, so I was like, that makes sense. And people had done it before. I wasn't a pioneer there. Our difference, though, is we literally just let the grapes sit, mm-hmm. and whatever the free, we call it free run juice, whatever mm-hmm. just falls from it, that's it. We don't even press it. So it does make it different because it's delicious. There's nothing there that you actually try to squeeze out.
Yes.
So it's all gravy. And people can't get enough of it in the tasting room. People love it. And everywhere we take it, it's a big winner.
Mm-hmm. And now just also separate from your winery, just looking at the North Fork wine region as a whole, what are your hopes for the future of the region further down the line?
It's been a very tough year financially, and we come from another tough year. So mm-hmm. the industry is changing all over the world. I think trendy's volume is down. People are consuming less alcohol. Mm. They are consuming better wines. So I wish the North Fork capitalizes on that, and we do less volume but more quality. Mm-hmm. And I think there's an initiative out there for Cab Franc Forward. Have you heard of it?
I've just
out here
only briefly.
Okay, it's wineries pushing for Cab Franc, mm-hmm. and I think what we're trying to do is get the word out that the Cab Franc in the North Fork is great. So that people, when you're out in the city, you see a Cab Franc from the North Fork and you go like, yes. I wish to see more of those initiatives, or even just the same ones, but become stronger and stronger. Mm-hmm. And And I wish we all survive and get what we want, because we're all bracing for tough years.
Yes. And then we have seen, like you said, I think more wineries are doing non-alcoholic wines just to reach a broader audience too, I think.
Well, I think that's the other thing we need to capitalize as a region. We are a low alcohol region. Mm-hmm. If you compare my wines in Mexico, they're 13s, 14s. Our wines here, I have 11s, 12s, even 10%. Mm-hmm. I think we have not capitalized on that. We have not presented ourselves as low alcohol. I don't know if the non-alcohol is the solution, or is it just a trend? Like, honestly, I question myself that every day. We are doing wine spritzers. They're 4%. So it's wine mixed in with, because we have so much fruit in Mexico. So it's pomegranate and rosé and peach and white. And we're starting to be, I mean, people like it. And it's a category that's growing, but still very, very small category. Is it going to stay? I don't know. We had those, we created them maybe 10 years ago, and then we never actually commercialized them. Now we're doing, because there's an opportunity to do so, but I don't think wineries should do it just to gain traction. I think they should do it if they have something worth exploring in that sense. Otherwise, let's push for that. We're low alcohol region.
Yes.
And see if that sticks more.
Definitely. And I think just lastly, what do you enjoy most about living and working out here on the North Fork?
I mean, come on. The North Fork, it's everything. I love coming out here. I love going to small places like Eight Hands Farm that they do everything themselves. I could eat there every day. You know where the ingredients are coming from. I go to Bronx. I stop for the fish. I go home. I cook. I wake up early. I'm checking on the vines. Like, it's a dream life.
Yes.
All of the rest is noise, and I have to do it because it's part of the business. Mm-hmm. But to me, this is it's paradise.
Yes.
It's slow. But it's meaningful and it's intentional, and I love it.
And just lastly, I usually like to ask at the end if there were any last minute things you'd like to say or discuss that we haven't.
Well, what's
touched.
your favorite wine?
I probably would say I'm not a real aficionado, but I do enjoy a lot of the sparkling wines.
Okay.
More like the brut, you know.
Okay, like dry.
Dry.
Good. There's a lot of good sparklings out here.
Yes.
So you should try them all.
I think I'm more of a white wine person than a red.
Okay, that's good. I am too, honestly.
Yeah.
The more you drink wine, I think the more you become a white person.
Yeah.
But there's so many out there to try that it's...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I'll send you some of that sparkling Riesling. You're going to love it.
Okay. Thank you. No, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on the podcast today and share your story and having this wonderful business out here on the North Fork. It's really great, and it's a pleasure to have you on today.
No, thank you. It's been a challenge and a pleasure being part of this community, but I love it out here. So I'm very, very blessed and lucky, and if we can keep going for a long time, that would be great.
Yes.
Thank you for having me too, and for thinking of us.
Oh, definitely. Thank you. Well, I hope you enjoyed episode 228 with Maria Rivero González. I want to thank you for listening to the Floyd Memorial Library podcast, and we'll see you next time.